WrestleMania 38 is just around the corner. With 2 months left before the show of shows taking place, I thought it was a good time to talk about the perfect WrestleMania 38 match card that I came up with. If WWE went with this card, I can guarantee that it would be one of, if not the best WrestleManias of all time, but I might be a little biased. At WWE, if you guys want, you can go ahead and take this match card. I'm totally fine with it. Anyways, let's get right into the video. We're going to start things off with the first night of WrestleMania, since WWE will be using the 2-night format, which I love, by the way. To start off WrestleMania, we're going to have a match for the women tag team titles featuring two of the best current female wrestlers as well as two women goats in the business. I'm fully aware that Bayley is still injured, but I do have a feeling that she will be back soon and will most likely have a match at WrestleMania. I'm also aware that Carmella and Zelina Vega are the women tag team champs, but to be honest, they aren't the best. Therefore, the WWE is going to have to act quickly and have Sasha Banks and Bayley win those belts. I know that Sasha and Bayley had beef the last time we saw them on TV, but they're like a toxic couple who always get into fights and eventually get back together. That is the nature of their relationship. Once they have the belts, they should antagonize Lita, telling her she could never be the tag team champion because nobody likes her and she's just old and washed up and has no more friends. And that is when you insert her best friend. There you go, you got a dream match. And after this match, I would even take it a step further and book singles matches between Lita and Bayley, as well as Sasha and Trish, maybe for SummerSlam. The next bout on the show is going to be Kevin Owens wrestling Finn Balor. These two have had beef since the days of NXT, and since Kevin Owens is now a heel, you could easily write up some sort of storyline to have these two guys feuding once again. I don't really have anything too important to say about this one. I just feel like both men should be on the WrestleMania match card and they would have a fantastic match together, so why not make it happen? After that match, Big E is going to take on the returning Goldberg. I know that some of you might not really like this match because the IWC despises Goldberg, but it's not a bad idea because the general audience loves him. You can't just book a card that would please one group of fans. It's important to deliver for all different types of audiences that the WWE has attracted over the years. Big E can also really benefit from having a major singles WrestleMania match. The only one that I can recall is the fight against Apollo Crews, and I wouldn't even say that is too major because it lasted 5 minutes and it was short. I think a quick and chaotic match that gives Big E the victory would be good for him, and I would want to see it happen. In the next bout, Damian Priest is going to defend his US Championship against Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, and The Miz in a fatal 4-way match. This may seem a little odd considering that Bobby Lashley is the WWE Champion right now, but you'll see the plans I have for that title. After losing his belt, Lashley decides to chase after the US title because he was a pretty dominant champion when he was holding that championship and he wants more gold around his waist. Austin Theory gets inserted into the match directly from Vince McMahon and the segments that those two have. The Miz gets in the title picture because he feels like he deserves a title opportunity since he's been the dark horse of the company for quite some time now. This seems like a fun match that would elevate the prestige of that title. AJ Styles should win the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber because Bobby Lashley doesn't really need the belt. It's time to make things fresh, and AJ would be the perfect champion because he hasn't been the top champion since 2019. As for his opponent, it should be Edge. This is the dream match we all want to see, and adding the WWE Championship to it can raise the stakes and make people care even more about the match. The WWE title deserves to have a dream match around it, and Edge versus AJ is the best match that would accomplish that. Either Edge or AJ can win, I don't really care. The ending doesn't matter too much. It's all about the journey that I want to see. The second to last match of the first night of WrestleMania should be the Usos versus the Bar for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. I feel like the Usos need formidable challengers, and their title reign has been a little lackluster because of not having great opponents. And with Cesaro and Sheamus pretty much not doing anything too meaningful, I think it's a good idea to have these two reunite even if it's for a little bit. Cesaro and Sheamus work really well together, and it could be fun seeing them work side by side once again. At least this is what I would want to see. And the main event of night 1 on this perfect match card is Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This was already announced in real life, so good job WWE. At first, I wanted to see Becky versus Ronda, but I think that Bianca's momentum is too important to push it to the side. Ronda versus Becky can wait for WrestleMania 39. I'm down to see Charlotte and Ronda battle it out as long as Ronda wins the belt and eventually drops it to Sasha Banks. That would make me very happy. And now it's time to jump into the second night of WrestleMania 38. To kick things off on the second night, we're going to have a ladder match for the tag team titles between the Mysterios, the Street Profits, and of course the champions, the Alpha Academy. Ladder matches are always a great way to start off a show, and the talent included in this match could deliver one fantastic opener to the second night. I imagine that Montez Ford and a ladder would be a dangerous mix because of his athletic ability and his hops. Following that match is going to be Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan. I don't know why, but for some reason I want to watch these two have a feud and match for WrestleMania season. I don't know, I can't explain it, but I do. If WWE wants to build Liv Morgan into the star that she is, they're going to have to book her strong and make her have important matches. A match with Alexa Bliss at WrestleMania could do wonders for her career. Liv Morgan should definitely pick up the victory for this one if they do have a match. After that, Shinsuke Nakamura is going to defend his IC Championship against Sami Zayn. And I find it kind of funny and ironic how I created this match card a few days ago, only to find out that WWE is actually booking this match, but for SmackDown in 2 weeks. That I don't really understand why that's happening. I don't get the reason behind having this match on a SmackDown in February rather than keeping it for WrestleMania. Like, what is the purpose of that? Save it for WrestleMania and allow these two to recreate the magic from their first match together in NXT. The next match is going to be Matt Riddle versus Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton and Matt Riddle have had one of the most entertaining runs in Raw over the last 6 months. Despite this though, it's probably time for these two to move on into new programs because you don't want to keep them together for too long to the point where people get bored of them. It seems like it is time for them to face off, and WrestleMania 38 is the perfect show for these two to battle it out in. Randy Orton would probably be the one to turn heel on Matt Riddle. And honestly, a win over Randy Orton can be huge for Matt Riddle and his future. Next up is Bianca Belair getting her rematch against Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship on the line. As I said earlier, Bianca Belair's momentum is far more important than Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey right now. I know WWE booked Ronda versus Charlotte because they want Flair to be the most decorated woman of all time, but the real takeaway is that Bianca is WWE's next superstar and she must have a great and important role at WrestleMania. Therefore, she should fight Becky and win back her championship, getting her revenge. Drew McIntyre versus John Cena would only make this match card even better. This is obviously assuming that John Cena has the time to make WrestleMania with this very busy schedule. Drew McIntyre needs a big time opponent, and what bigger name is there than John Cena? It is a dream match we've wanted to see for quite some time now, and I hope it can happen soon. And by soon, I mean WrestleMania 38. If Cena is not able to make it to the show, I would like to see Drew McIntyre wrestle someone like LA Knight, or maybe even finish the feud with Happy Corbin. And the main event of the show should be Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. After the Royal Rumble, this match makes a lot of sense. Roman Reigns screwed both Rollins and Lesnar out of their matches at the pay-per-view. They both want a rematch, and so they get it. They both get their rematch at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship. Adding Seth Rollins to this match would make it so much better. It's the match that took place 7 years ago, technically speaking, when Seth Rollins cashed into the Money in the Bank briefcase. I say let's run it back. I prefer this a lot more than just a singles rematch between Lesnar and Reigns. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll see you all in the next video.